and welcome back to Kuma Club Friends Talk Culture. I am Nenzarmwa here, and as you can see, I have these amazing, lovely ladies here with me. You're welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Yes. So for the month of May, we decided to target Family Month, African Family Month, and we decided, okay, what's the best way to talk about the African family if we don't start with the very basic union that starts an African family, which is marriage, right? So before we get into the topic, I'll just let them introduce themselves real quick before we start. So there you go.
Hi, I'm Ajiboye, Mrs. Christy Ajiboye. I'm the director, head chef at Nimbiana Cakes.
Hi, I'm Onome, Rede, Kesena. I'm a fashion designer and fashion illustrator. Basically, I'm a tailor.
Hi guys, I'm Alachi with Regina. I'm a writer, makeup artist, and I love to learn a lot of things.
Awesome. So we're really glad to have you all here.
Thank you so much.
All right. So as we all know, the very basic, before you start up a family anywhere, of course, a man and a woman have to meet, right? I know these days there are other definitions and other things, but well, basically African families are a man and a woman. So one thing in the equation that a lot of us talk about, we talk about it a whole lot, but we don't really come out like this to talk about, is the issue of the in-laws. Okay.
Dreaded in-laws.
The dreaded in-laws. We see a lot of it in like movies. Everybody, we talk about it on the streets. It's like, in-laws are wicked, or my in-laws are mean and everything, but we don't really have like civil conversations about it. So we decided today to just, bring that up. So one of the things I would like to start with is to explain, for instance, okay, that I want you all to like just talk about this. Like, what is it about the African culture that expects a woman to be like, there's this expectation like she's the object in the marriage. Like, there's always this thing that you are the one we are marrying, you are the one we are bringing. And then when you are getting married, you are the one leaving your family. There's always this thing about the woman who seems to be like the one who has no control over the situation happening around her, but whatever is happening is being done to her. So like, what do you have to say about that? Miss Christy, do you care to?
Well, for me, I think that marriage most times is being the burden is being laid more on the woman, more, because most times women or little girls spend more time with their mom growing up, going to the market with your mom, being in the kitchen, I don't know, doing chores, running errands. You're always with your daughter, and then you find the little boys, like those days, you find them playing outside, and the little girls are always, even if they're playing outside, they are playing like mommy making
roads.
Yes, so that's what we're used to. So I guess somehow the norm like caught up with that. So
it
that's
got infused into society. That was the belief.
Exactly. So I think that also the way God has designed marriage, it's just a beautiful thing. It's supposed to be enjoyed, but everyone needs to know their role and their parts that they have to play. When you start playing another person's part, where the man has failed to play his part or the woman has failed to play her part, then that's when we start having issues, like in-laws, for instance, we're talking about, and then everyone is playing another person's role. The other person is just, basically.
Okay, that made a whole lot of sense. So entering into another person's thing, right? All right, cool. And I realized it's actually, there's something that happens, right? It's like there's an expectation that is put on ladies, okay? So when you go there, when you go to the in-laws, you're supposed to show up a kind of way. There is an expectation. There's what is expected of you to do.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm going to be asking you all about, and I'd love to hear your opinions, is what do you have to say about doing chores? Like before marriage, when you walk into your in-laws house, would you do chores? Like if you saw your to-be's husband to-be or fiance's mom cooking, or his big sister or something, like, or sweeping or doing all that, like, what would you do? Yvonne, Onome, sorry.
Okay. So this is not something that I did, and it's not something I would do, and it's definitely not something I would encourage my girls to do or anybody else to do. Before I got married, I visited my in-law. It's not like it was the first time I was seeing her or anything. We grew up in the back together, but that was the first time I was visiting as a potential wife. But I went to the house and she was cooking. I'm the guest. I came to see my fiancé and show, quote unquote, myself to the family. I sat down in the living room. It's not my place to look for the kitchen. Because if that was my first time in the house, then you're telling me to look for the kitchen myself.
Yes.
I'll go and do chores in the kitchen.
Yes.
If it's that we grew up together and I'm used to entering
the
rooms,
house,
it's a different matter. But this is the first time I'm meeting you and you expect me to go and cook. What if I cook with lots of pepper and you don't eat pepper? What if I don't cook with salt and you can't manage that kind of food? Well, basically, I did not go to the kitchen and I did not get any backlash. Maybe eventually that was a backlash that happened later on, but it wasn't something that happened. And then even when I was married, it's not something I did. Like someone said earlier that if it's something you're not going to continue, don't start. Even while I was married, you would when I visited the in-laws, I did not, for any reason, at any point, enter the kitchen to do any slavery work. I'm a visitor. When you come to my house, you don't do it for me. So it's not something that I think should be done.
Oh, so that's very cool. I think I agree with the opinion of don't start what you don't want to continue. Yeah, because when you start like that, that gives room for the whole idea of, oh, she's pretending later. She's trying to, yes. Yeah, you said something earlier also about
yes,
you know, don't do that.
Yeah, because I actually went through that as well. Before I got married, you know, I had an opportunity to go visit my in-laws. At the time, she was not in the same state where I was. We were living in Abuja, and then I needed to travel to Kaduna to go see her. I remember when I arrived there, in my mind, because I was really young, I got married at 23. I was 23 years old. The 23-year-old girl was just thinking, dude, I just want to get married, and I don't really care about in-laws, you know. But I just thought that, oh yeah, she's just a human being. I didn't know what in-law really was. You know, I didn't thought that it was
that concept of monster in-law was not your
I just thought she was a normal human being I'm going to go and see. So
like your
everyone,
mom.
yes. You know, and I remember meeting her and telling her that, in fact, she actually told me that I need to treat her the way I treat my mom. And then that was just an exciting one for me. I'm like, oh great, mommy, I don't wash clothes for my mom. I don't do this. Okay, all the things I don't do for my mommy. My mommy wash my own clothes. If you want to wash clothes for me, wash clothes for me. You know, it was just like an opportunity to be real. I know that some other women, or if I was older, I probably wouldn't have taken that award literally.
Yeah.
You know, because I actually woke up the next day by 10 a.m. Yes. Like, oh mommy, you haven't made food. She was like, say it's yellow. Like, you know, because I was just thinking, you said I should treat her like my mom. That's how I treat my mom. My mom cooks, my mom does everything, you know.
And have you guys bonded over that? Like,
yes, actually, I would say we actually have a really good relationship. I mean, because just like any other human being, as I would have issues with my mom, I have some issues with her. But I try not to make it look like, oh, it's because
she's not my mom.
Yeah. Yes, because she's a human being. You know, there are actually some really, really evil women out there that are mother-in-laws. Yes, but also there are actually good and genuine people that are just trying to, you know, if I look at it this way, if I had a son now, a son that I've raised up from bed, I've taken care of, and then one girl just wants to come and snatch him and just run off with him and then let him not show me love anymore. I would imagine how I would feel. But because having a child now, I can understand a little. Okay, imagine my child just turning her back on me, absolutely, not even calling, not even, you know. So I would feel bad, but that's not giving excuses for the wrongdoings. You're still a human being. You're still a normal person. There's no title to in-law. I heard a mother-in-law telling her daughter-in-law, you know, oh, you're lucky that I'm really a good mother, a good mother-in-law to you. I'm a very good mother. And then I told the woman, and mommy, thank God, you too, God gave you a very good daughter-in-law. So the equation balanced. So it's not really like a thing of who is doing each other favor. We're just human beings. We're trying to coexist, trying to figure things out. Let's not make the work
hard for everybody.
I think most people decide to be what they want to be to whoever they want to be. because I'm also an in-law. I'm a sister-in-law, and I imagined for the longest time I have only one brother, and that brother has 4 sisters.
Yes.
Me and the first.
Yeah.
So I imagined maybe what kind of wife would come that would make me be that kind of person.
Monster, yes.
Why would I be like that? The way I see my sister-in-law, I see her as the last born of the family. Although this last born is married to my brother. So I think it's the way people choose to treat the people that come into the family.
Yes.
The entitlement mentality.
Exactly.
Like what you said in the beginning, you grow up with a certain kind of expectation about how people should be. If a lady is coming to the marriage into the family, she needs to kneel down, she needs to crawl and everything.
Bending down to greet, all those things you don't do at
At
home.
home.
All of a sudden,
what
you're
is the
dressing up for
point?
the in-laws.
What is the point?
Okay, so just to quickly explain why Regina is not really talking. I think Regina, you should speak, please, because Regina is single, so she's like, let me see what this is you're talking about, and Onome sadly has been divorced for about 6 years now. She has a very beautiful daughter, and Christy has 2 beautiful daughters too. She's still married. But I want to hear from a single person's perspective, what are you planning for your in-laws?
That sounds ominous.
Well, this question is really a tough one because
Yes.
growing up then, because of the way in-laws were perceived as wicked, even sadly though, my mom and her in-laws, supposed in-laws, they didn't have this really cool relationship. In front of her, they were actually really cool. Behind her, they were always, why is this woman like that? She's the reason why my dad was not doing certain things and all. And they didn't understand that their brother was just being their brother. And they felt like, okay, if you're in Abuja, you're married to a woman and all, you're supposed to have all the money in the world and do everything for them, spend lavishly. Growing up, I was always like, hey, my in-law is going to be bad, let the person die. It was until I lost my mom, I was actually, I got this, I actually realized that people are different, yes. So that was when, I think that was when I stopped praying that prayer. Because my eyes were opened. I was like, okay, what if someone somewhere now, maybe my brother's wife was praying, let my mother-in-law just die, let me have smooth sailing. So there was already this concept, because that's what we grew up meeting, where mother-in-laws treated their daughter-in-laws like trash. And then we felt like, okay, maybe that's the norm. So let our mother-in-laws just die, and then we come in and have smooth sailing with their sons and all. And if you notice again, most in-laws, like she said, sense of entitlement, most people have it. But firstly, before we are in-laws, mothers and daughters, we first have to be humans first. That's what is most important. You as a mother-in-law, just sit and think, the way I want to treat my daughter, the way I want my daughter to be treated is the way I should treat my daughter-in-law. But that's not the case. As you can see me here like this with these 2 marks, it's not like I don't love them, but it was forced on me by my grandma, and I felt in a way she did this despite my mom, because from the story my mom told me, she said she left me with her and she begged her supposedly not to give me the mark, but she was like, she's my grandmother, yes, and I'm her grandchild and she's my grandma. So my mom had there's this culture of a woman have no say in whatever happens to the grandchildren.
And she had to prove it to her.
Yes, she just had to. And then even though it didn't stop whatever was happening with me and all, they did have already been done. And there was nothing my mom could do about it. So me, for my in-laws, I don't have any plans, but I don't think I can go and slave for any man.
Okay, that's really cool. I think her head is in the right place. I love the idea that, or the perspective you have about we are first humans before we are anything. And if you're a good person, you're a good person. So if you have also seen very amazing in-law, daughter-in-law, or sister, some of them get so close that the person
oh, I have a sister-in-law too.
You do, exactly. And then also I want us to talk about this thing like real quick. I think perspective changes the moment you begin to have children.
Yes, definitely.
It alters you in a million ways. Like she said, I think for you it was the death of your mom.
Yes.
In an African society, look, we're just, because of the kind of cultures you've seen it in the movies, you've seen women being dragged to the village, they take everything, they strip her away when the husband dies, all those things. So it has affected the way we view this idea of in-laws, and maybe some personal experiences. All of us have that one wicked uncle. Or that evil,
and they're usually father's brothers.
Father's brothers or something, there's always that experience that always alters your thinking. But then I really thank God also that, I don't know, somehow maybe with modernization, with the change, you know, that if society evolving, people are now realizing that, you know what, I can win if I am a better person.
Yes.
So it's really just about developing a good relationship, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to our children, I think we'll actually do far better. Okay.
I think a lot of the work that needs to be done is not with the generation passes, with the generation coming. And sadly, there are not many people who have that mindset to be able to teach the young men. Because at the end of the day, even if you don't teach young girls anything, if you have good men, the girls will always fall in line.
Definitely.
The problem is always for me, in my own opinion, starts from the men. If a man should be able to, if a man sits and sees his sisters or mothers or brothers treating his wife badly and doesn't say anything about it,
condoning,
it's terrible. For example, my brother is an amazing human being, his wife is an amazing human being. From my own perspective, I don't know about other people, what I see with my sisters and my mom and everybody, we are not terrible in-laws at all. In fact, we have too much love to give. But still, even with us being the good people we are, my brother stands in between us and his wife. If we say something, if I ask my brother for something, even if it's a favor or help, I say, let me ask my wife and see what her opinion is.
So now, basically, what I want to know right now is, what are the things that you think we can do, both as in-laws, you know, as the in-laws in African culture, taking in the women, and as the women going in? What do you think we can do to make this relationship far better for everybody? Like, what do you think? Gina, I think you should start first.
Okay. I've been waiting for that question.
Yes.
Firstly, to begin with, I think good parenting. That's where most people are lacking. Okay, now I have a child. Because, okay, basically I raised my younger ones, you know. And then I see my brother beat up a girl and I don't correct him. What am I teaching him to be?
It's okay. You're telling him it's okay.
Yes,
to do that.
like it's okay to actually beat up a lady. And then most men live with the mentality that, okay, because my dad beats my mom and all. I believe that life is a choice. Whether you grew up there are people that grew up in far more terrible environments, but they grew up to be wonderful men. They grew up to be loving husbands. And then, like I said earlier, it's just a matter of choice. We have to make that choice to firstly be human before we are either a man or whatever it is. As a parent, if you see what is wrong with your boy child, deal with it. Not like, okay, there was time my dad was like, we should not let my brother do anything in the house because he's a boy and all. And no sentiments, but you see these Idoma men, oh God. Most of them feel like, okay, because they are the men and all, they deserve, okay, as a man, you're supposed to serve him in a certain way and all. And we women too, we need to learn to stand up for each other. Because you are a sister-in-law in the family, and then you see your brother's wife, maybe a late wife or something, a late brother, a widow, that's your brother's widow, being treated like trash. She's being dealt with and all, and then you are at the forefront, cherry on, and leading the squad and all. And then I'm wondering whether you're a woman too, because this life is just very wrong, and whatever goes around comes back around. We should learn to put ourselves in people's shoes, and then, okay, if this is happening to me, how would I feel? I feel like that alone will teach us to be better people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That makes so much sense. Honestly, parenting, know, I know that for me, I also think that the relationship that like I always say, start how you want to finish. You know, you just need to just lay it out when you meet this in-law for the first time. Okay, this is how I am, and then it takes work. You have to put in the work. You have to be able to win the person over and let the person know that actually I am not like this, so this is what happened. You know, like explain true things. Oh, mommy, it's not because of that thing that this happened. No, this happened because of such and such. You know, don't leave things in the dark and leave gray areas because lack of communication is communication.
Yes.
You know, so you cannot say I'm not going to. She's sabi anyway. She want to do. She, you know, then later you want to start explaining that I'm a good person now. Then forgetting all the other things that you've done. I remember having a situation like that one time. My mother-in-law, she was complaining that I haven't called her that many. with, and then I'm like, mommy, am I your daughter? If I don't call you, you cannot call me. You call me now. I'm your daughter, so if I don't call you, ma call me. You know, so, and I enjoy the relationship I have with her because it's just real. I don't need to come and start acting one daughter-in-law or one mother-in-law. Anything I can do for my mom, I do for her. It's the same thing I do for her, and the same thing I can do for any other human being. So it's not really about who the person is. It's just being a good person, basically. You know, and then we can't keep saying we are Christians or you know God, and then you are acting as if. Then there's a special.
You drop God one side.
Yes, there's a special God out of this matter. You know,
that's the thing.
Every time we have opportunity to shine for Christ, we need to just take the opportunity. That's what I think.
Well, in my own opinion, put yourself in the person's shoes, especially for mothers and sisters. Sometimes sisters, if like you said, your brother's widow, if you have been widowed and such a thing has happened to you and it was terrible for you, why let another person go through that?
Honestly.
And then if you haven't, look at it as an example of what could happen to you. Put a stop to it. If you're a mother and you have both boys and girls, keep in mind that what you do to another woman's girl, somebody may do worse to you, because this life is all about seed time and harvest. No matter how long, every seed that is sown must germinate and must produce seed. And the thing about seed is that you plant one grain of rice, when you bring it out, you are holding it from it's plenty, it's full in your hand. I mean, you plant one seed of mango and then that tree keeps on giving every mango seeds for years. So if the best way to deal with this thing going forward, girls going into marriage, don't look for monsters. Don't decide to be monsters. Don't use
naive either.
Exactly. Don't use somebody else's, or even if it's your sister's or your mother's experience to go into any relationship. And mothers, be a mother. Be a mother. There's one thing that happens in my church when people are wed. When they are done with the ceremony, they tell the in-laws to cross. That the boy's parents stand behind the girl, lay their hands and pray. The boy's parents stand behind the boy, and vice versa, the girl, and lay their hands and pray. And they tell them this thing: there is nothing like my son. These two have become one. They are both your children. And my mom, and it's the way, like I said, the way we look at it. I see myself as the firstborn of 6 children, 5 girls and 1 boy. That's how I see it. No, there's nobody that will come and tell me it's your in-law. Like, she's my sister by marriage. So that's the best way to do it, going with that mindset. Keeping in mind that I have sisters. If I treat this lady terribly, when they go into marriages, they might be the ones to reap it, not me. Mothers, you may God will keep us all alive for a long time. But you are not the one that will reap it. It's your daughters, maybe not your daughters, your granddaughters, who will reap the evil seeds you have sown. So be mindful of the seeds you sow, because tomorrow is not too far.
That's true. And I also wanted to add something very important that, it's something that we always preach here, like at Kuma Club. We say culture and tradition was made to serve man, not the other way around. If it's no longer serving its purpose, or it's no longer making sense, just throw it away, for crying out loud. Like, what's all this she has to do like this, or she has to scrape, like some of these things, I feel like it's no more making sense. It's irrelevant at this point. It's just a reflection of the evil in the hearts of people at some point. So I was having a conversation with someone, and she told me about Igala people who have this tradition of, before a bride walks into the house, your mother-in-law, she comes naked to the house. Not naked. They will wrap her in like one robe. So they will just put her in a robe, and then when she comes in, before she gets into the house, the mother-in-law will kneel down and wash her legs. You bend and wash your daughter's legs before she walks into the house. And
signifying what exactly?
It's supposed to signify that you're welcoming her in a you're kind
humble
of
way.
It's a humbling way to receive. And I didn't kind of like it. No, I didn't like this thing initially. Do you know why? Because I felt, is that not demeaning? Or do you know when I liked it? Because the person that I saw that thing being done to was a monster in-law to somebody else.
My God.
So in that moment, for me, I didn't see what was wrong with it. It was just so good. Like,
You're really happy.
Yes, I was really happy about it. I'm like, do it. Yes. Do you understand? And another thing also I see with traditions like that, I just feel like, okay, if it's not harming or killing somebody, I don't think if I love any of my, I could turn that into a tradition. Like if I don't have any kind of qualms with something like that. I mean, if the girl is okay, it's not like she's gonna be like, hey, take that and kiss my face.
I remember something like that being done for me after I got married. But it wasn't like naked. It was actually I was still wearing my wedding dress after leaving the church from the wedding. So we were supposed to. That's how they welcome brides in my husband's family. So what they did actually.
What tribe is that?
It's from Kogi State. Okay. Ogori Magongo. Okay. So they just like poured water on my feet. So girls,
watch out for that. If any guy comes from that part, please.
So they just like my husband will hold my hand, walk to the door. Then he's like maybe like the father of the house or whatever. Like pours water on my feet. That was what was done. Then I walk in, then everyone's hugging you and welcoming you.
Yes.
So that was actually more.
Yeah, it's actually more. It's more about the significance.
Yeah.
And those are traditions. I feel anything like we always say, tradition culture just starts with somebody just adding value to something. Yes, the value here is we cherish you and we receive you with great joy. With open arms, we welcome you. So is the value that you attach and the significance. So anybody could start like any kind of thing. For some people, it's like in African culture, it could be the spraying of the bride, like come in. And I think we should do these things and we should mean them, you know, and also know that everybody that you're relating with, like we say, we're all humans. They are prone to errors too. There should be room. But before we leave, please, I want to find out one last thing. Where is the cutoff mark for staying in a marriage with terrible in-laws or living? Where is the cutoff mark?
Can I say something?
Yes.
You can't call it a cutoff mark for staying in a marriage with terrible in-laws.
Yes.
It's a decision between husband and wife.
Okay.
If the terrible in-laws are on the man's side, like I gave the example with my brother, he, the man, is supposed to be the part of your marriage vows is I cherish and protect you and all of that. Or part of the man's quote-unquote duty is to protect the woman, not from outsiders, from even insiders.
Yeah.
So it's not about the marriage is between the two of you. The family is extended. You and your wife are the nuclear. Every other person is extended. That means you can survive without the extended. It's not advised. It's not in our kind of culture. It's not advised, and it's not actually an expectation. But whatever the issue is, it cannot be me deciding I will not stay in this marriage because of the in-laws. If it is so uncomfortable and my husband is encouraging them, and my life is at stake, yes, at that point. Someone like me, if my husband is even not, if my relationship with my husband is good, it only turns one kind with the in-laws.
Yes.
When they come, I have girls weekend out. I need to go and visit my mother. I'm coming and I'm out. I will move away
from that
situation. And if it gets too much, it has to be a choice. Did you marry me or did you buy me? One of the two. So like it's something, there's no cutoff point. It's what you decide. The husband protects, the woman would. There's nothing that a woman will not do for a man that covers her well.
Okay, well for me, I think that first of all, the question comes in: where was your head when you were dating this guy? I get confused when you're in the marriage.
Oh my God!
When you're in the marriage, then you're getting confused, like seeing red lights and flying all around, and then you're wondering, this guy is acting different. There's always those signs. I always say this to young girls, single girls. There are always those signs to know the kind of person that your husband is before you get married to him.
Yeah.
Sometimes we decide to ignore it, or sometimes, unless the guy is like really, really in to get us, then he becomes. That's a different situation. Yeah. So the guy decides to really mean you. Okay, I just want to show you that I'm black. I'm a totally white man. Yeah. That's a different story. But the ones that the guy is just being a normal guy, and then he's showing you signs of I beat woman. He's showing you seeing a lady that doesn't concern you, a passerby walking by, is like, see the way this girl is behaving. If it means that she's doing that, I'll just slap her. Those are red lights. But we ignore them. You know, they're different ways. You know how a guy would treat a woman when you see the way when
he treats his mom,
when he treats his mom, and when he treats people that he doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
It's obviously he's gonna treat you, even if you're a whale, he's gonna treat you special because he actually wants something from you.
Yes.
So you need to watch out for how you treat people that doesn't mean anything to you. His security guy, his washerman, his laundry guy, people that don't owe him anything. How does he treat them? How does he react?
Yeah.
You know, those are things that you need to look out for. Then you will know if he can actually protect you in the marriage. If you can actually think that it's actually enough for you to do this to a human being, don't do that to that person. Don't do that. Then you would know the kind of person that he is. I think you should put your head in the relationship when you are actually, especially if you want to marry that person.
I think one thing again that really comes to me is the fact that I think as parents, one of the things we find very difficult to do is we want our children to be independent. We want them to be able to fight for themselves. We want them to do everything, but the moment that they're about to get married, we want them to submit to us.
Yes.
I think we now want to alter the rules of the game. Yeah, so I think that you should understand that if your child, like you said, your brother, who by the way, guys, is the last born in the family. He has 4 elder sisters, but he stands deliver for his wife. If that is a thing that any parent I think should be proud of, that I have been able to raise a child that can stand his ground. So I think we shouldn't just teach our children to say no to other people. They will first start saying that no to you. So we should learn to deal with it as African parents. It's not bad at all.
Especially when we're doing something funny.
Honestly. So thank you so much.
Thank
you
so much.
Thank you for having us.
Christy, thank you so much. And I just implore you, please subscribe, like, share this video, and comment in the comment sections if you've had any crazy in-law stories or experiences. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.